And to conclude our focus on Women's Day from a sporting perspective, 4Racing, in partnership with Racehorse Owners Association, today celebrated women in the sport with a special race day at Turffontein Racecourse in Johannesburg. It included an 8-race program and a lunch. To speak more about it is CEO of 4Racing, Fundi Sithebe. A very good evening and welcome to Newzroom Afrika. So I want to know, how did you yourself get involved in this sport?
Thank you so much, Valen. It's always good to be back on Newzroom Afrika. So I always say I was kind of minding my own business, wanted to go into a sabbatical after having been the COO of Airports Company South Africa for a number of years. And this opportunity just came by, just literally randomly. Pumelela, that had gone into business rescue, and the assets were purchased, and a company called 4Racing was being started. And I went through an interview process. And Valen, here's the funny thing. In the interview to the panel, I said, hang on, guys, I think you may have the wrong person for this job. I know nothing about horses. I've probably only been to one racing event my entire life. So perhaps not the best person. And so that's exactly what we want. It's to demonstrate just how versatile this industry is, how versatile the sport is. And you actually don't need to have grown up in racing or within, the industry to be able to get involved, to lead one of the biggest operators, the biggest operator in South Africa. Fast forward, I'm here, I'm enjoying it. I'm also a partial shareholder in a couple of horses. So yeah, it's been an interesting ride of my life.
So some of the women that are involved are actually in horse racing. Rachel Veneker, we were hoping to see her at the Vodacom Durban July. It was only concussion that kept her out of the race at Greyville. And Jessica Motong, she's also a new racehorse owner, and she's the Kaizer Chiefs marketing director. So what's the appeal then of the sport from what you found out in your position? Because now, from the time that you did that interview where you said, I know nothing about the sport, you know a lot more now.
So, Valen, it really is just such a multifaceted sport, right? So, like you say, Jess Kamdawung is involved. We previously owned a horse together. She also owns fractional ownership in 4 other horses. So, moral of the story is you don't need to own a full horse. You only just need to own, whether it's a left foot, hoof, ear, tail, whatever it may be. You can still enjoy it. You can still have the thrill. And by the way, when your horse comes through that winning line, doesn't matter how much you own, it's won. So that's part of, what we had today to focus on, right? Then you've got the Rachel Venekers, like you say, such a pity because Rachel's going to be the first female jockey in over 100 years that the Durban July is being held. So, also just to say you can be an apprentice, you can be a jockey. Obviously, you've got to be the right height and you can't be, overweight. But that opportunity exists. So really, we were focusing on ownership, getting involved in the sport. It has been previously kind of, labeled the sport of the elite. And we're here to say as 4Racing, we're about diversity, we're about transformation, we're about bringing in new people, new target audiences into this amazing sport that is horse racing.
I suppose it also helps that Smanga Khumalo just won a second Vodacom Durban July. So other than just getting more women involved, you're also getting more people of colour involved in the sport, which has traditionally been seen as a white sport.
Yeah, so it's incredibly important. So like you say, we've got a Smanga Khumalo who's, leading now in terms of South African horse racing. He's probably in the top 30 in the leaderboard globally of jockeys. You've got Muzieni, you've got Kabelo Matunyane. You've got such a vast amount of diversity, especially, when it comes to the jockeys. We do need to bring in more females. We do need to, once we also start going on course, start to see, different people coming to enjoy it as a sport. Start coming to the racetracks to watch it as a sport, as a family event. And some of those are some of the dynamics that need to start to change because previously, we were all good at betting and stuff like that. But to enjoy the sport of coming through to, on course is important. And like I say, to start making sure that we own a little bit more of the sport as well. Say that we are, the people that are going to take racing to the people and bring people to the races. It's important for us as 4Racing.
So women are getting involved in more than just putting together amazing outfits, either for themselves or designing for other people. But is it a friendly space for women?
Oh, incredibly friendly, Valen. You know, as long as you know that you're there to have fun, you know that, by the way, I was saying, I think in my previous interview on Newzroom Afrika, we race in South Africa, not just 4Racing, but across the three entities, 360 races a day, or 360 race days. That's 360 calendar days worth of racing, except for 5. So what does that mean? Apart from your big, glitzy, glamorous events where you need to dress up, we have racing on almost every other day. And you too get involved in that. You don't need to be necessarily daunted by having to dress up and be glitz and be glamour. You know, it is there for everybody to consume on a daily basis, and you can have fun. You can come through some days in sneakers, really just, you know, there's not pomp and ceremony around it every single time. So we want to just make sure that people enjoy it, much like you go to the stadium to watch rugby or football. You can do the same thing with racing, and it should not be intimidating at all. It's that simple.
CEO of 4Racing, Fundi Sithebe, thank you very much for chatting to us here on Newzroom Afrika about transforming the sport, not only from a race perspective, but also from a gender perspective.